Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is a very sunny spring morning here in Northern England, but it's Saturday, the 11th of May. I'm going to stick with the Sebastian Rogers case today, and I'm going to follow directly on from yesterday's video where I talked about the dog handlers who Chris drove away. I'm going to talk about the leak call because we now know where that leak originated, and we're going to also look at a post from Sebastian's grandma. Let's go. Okay, following directly on from yesterday's video and the dogs who were turned away by Chris. So J is for Justice had a phone call, this is a few days ago, with two dog handlers. Both of them allegedly had been cleared by the TBI to go to Tennessee to search. One of them had Belgian Malinois, and one of the dogs is a cadaver dog. Chris said no. He doesn't want anyone searching his property, rightly so in my opinion. But what he can't do is stop people searching the local area. He has no say in what people do in the local area. If it's public land, he can shout and scream, jump up and down, throw a hissy fit. He can do whatever he wants. He can cry like a girl if he wants. He can't stop anyone. And if you're on someone else's land, as long as you've got permission, again, he can't stop you. The second dog handler took a private plane from California to Tennessee with her 4 bloodhounds. And she's absolutely right that amongst all breeds of dog, the bloodhound has got the best sense of smell by far. They are bred for it. They live for it. All right, nose to the ground, tracking a scent. It's absolutely right that the wrinkles in the face and the long ears supposedly disturb scent in the ground, and it helps them track. And that's not including their amazing olfactory system. They've got lots of olfactory receptors and their brain is just geared for it. All right, so bloodhounds, great dogs. She turned up, and I'm going to play you a minute or so from what she said. She was very emotional. She truly believed that they were onto something. So this woman is called Steph, I believe. Now, what I don't know and what I need to know is the exact day she went there. Because of this, listen.
We did not go on his property, but we did follow a scent. And that's the thing, is that he did not like where we were going. We were going in a whole separate direction than what the dogs that were initially there. We were going in a whole nother direction.
Jeepers.
Really?
And he said, you need to stop, you need to get out of here, you need to leave. He was in control back then, months and months and months ago, before all of this ended up happening. And you know what? The more I listen to it and the more we look at it, makes more sense now. In hindsight is 2020. And when we look at things, we were just thought, okay, we were asked to leave because maybe he has his own crew, his own dogs, and so on and so forth. But now that this clown has come out and
showed his true colors.
Showed his true colors, my husband said, we need to go back. But I don't know if we're going to be well received or not, because these people, his family is out there threatening people. They are out there following people, and they are out there discouraging people to look for this boy.
I'd have just carried on. If you're not on his property and you're on public land, I would have just carried on. So the dogs were going in a whole different direction than the other dogs had. So the other dogs, on the day that Sebastian disappeared, right, I'm going to remind you of the dispatch call, and Max, the German Shepherd, got a track.
Max picked track back up, going into the construction site over here back towards the beach. That's I'm behind you. It's awful muddy. Do you see any footprints, anything? You shouldn't have any shoes on. Negative, this is all dry, hard packed. I do have some footprints over here. Right there where you're standing? Yeah, leading right over here to the retaining pond. No shoes, just footprints? my shoes, but Max went straight into the pond. Max led me straight to the retaining pond. Over behind Willow Boulevard, he dove right into the water.
Was that Sebastian's scent, or was he following someone else's scent? We don't know, because Max hasn't come and done an interview with anyone. But Chris also told Trey from North Divers, and he told Gray Hughes, that a bloodhound and a blue-tick coonhound tracked Sebastian's scent.
If you're looking at my house, it's going to be the right-hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog comes all the way back up into the yard, and then it cuts that diagonal to the house and sort of through the back door. And that is the place to which the dogs took off. Now after that, that's where they get over to the neighbor and go up Kellen and head over to the other subdivision. Okay.
From the house, from the front porch, down the side of the fence, back up, then across the neighbour's backyard, onto Kellen, up Kellen, and then onto the construction site, and then lost it around the retention pond. So 2 different dogs tracked that, and then, I think a day or 2 later, another team came along, and one of his dogs also tracked the same track. So Steph, in saying her dogs went in a whole different direction, well, I need to know when she was there, because live scent doesn't last very long. On a natural surface like grass, earth, that kind of environment, then you're looking at a week max. Depends on other factors as well, such as the wind and stuff, but week max for the average dog. Now, a bloodhound, I think the longest successful track that has been recorded is 13 days. And that was a dog that tracked some hikers who had been lost. And this dog found the hikers, unfortunately, not in time, they were deceased, but that dog managed to track their live scent to their location. When did Steph, with these bloodhounds, go to the area? Because if it's longer than about 2 weeks since he went missing, they are definitely not tracking Sebastian's scent. So whatever track they followed, not Sebastian's scent. Now, if these are trained cadaver dogs, then they're not tracking with the nose to the ground. What they're doing is hunting. That dog is surveying the area, not following a track. So, very important distinction. So whatever scent Steph's dogs were tracking, it certainly wasn't Sebastian's live scent, unless they were there in the first couple of weeks. So there's that. All right, let's move on to the leaked call. Justice Warrior Investigations put a post on Facebook yesterday. Here it is. I have been put in a very bad position that could affect my business and or my license if I do not speak up. As I've previously mentioned, I have worked cases in the past under the scope of podcaster. When I'm working as a podcaster, I have no obligation of confidentiality because I do not have a client. However, in this case, I do have a client and therefore there is an obligation to confidentiality, and I take that very seriously. Now, she wrote this yesterday and I thought that she was no longer working with Seth. She said previously that she was no longer on a retainer with Seth. The way that her post sounded was that she was no longer his PI. So has that changed? Because she's now saying, my client. Where's Tony, by the way? Has anybody seen Tony? Can we send out a search party to find Tony Mathis, the spokesman? Where is he? Get your dogs ready. Let's go and track him. Where is he? Has he been on anyone's channel and I've missed it? Talking about this leaked call. All right. I have kept all my audios close to the vest in this case, and I've been very cautious about what we have shared with the public. With that said, it needs to be understood that neither I, Chloe, Tracy, or anyone else who is under this obligation leaked that audio. So Chloe is a different entity. She's a different company, if you will. Tracy belongs to Justice Warrior Investigations. It's my understanding that my client, so that's got to be Seth, shared it with someone who leaked it. So she gave it to Seth, and rightly, Seth should hear the audio. Well, who did he share it with? And why is he allowing things to be leaked? That's pretty bad form, isn't it? It's my understanding that my client shared it with someone who leaked it. It should also be known that I didn't send it to my client because I was afraid it would create more chaos and distract further from finding Sebastian. However, my client made a request for the audio to one of the people I did share it with, and they didn't see a reason to withhold it from him. So Heather shared it with some other people, probably connected to the business, and then it was one of them who shared it with Seth. And then it was Seth who leaked it to someone else, who then leaked it to the world. Technically, as my client, he did have every right to have it, and he is the only person that I and my team owe a duty of confidentiality to. It should also be noted that my client called me last night and told me I could share this information. So Seth wanted her to talk about this. I wasn't planning to, but given the amount of people accusing me of breach of confidentiality, it has become a necessity. Now, I haven't said that Heather breached confidentiality. Other people might have. But it's interesting that Seth is behind this leaked call. Okay, well, Robin Rogers. This is Sebastian's grandma. It's Seth's mother. She's trying to tone things down. And thankfully, because some of what she said has been very inflammatory against Chris and Katie. I had a long discussion with the special agent in charge of the TBI today. I just want to clarify a few things and hopefully help stop some of this drama. I am so sick to death of all the trauma vultures out there and conspiracy theorists. I want all of this to stop and for the focus to be where it should be, finding Sebastian. 1. TBI has interviewed both Chris and Katie extensively. So those who are saying they should be interrogated separately, they have been. 2. They have both been polyed and passed. Yes, Kate took more than one poly and passed. 3. It does more harm than good to keep, I think that should be delving into everyone's background. I understand the concern of whether Sebastian might be with his other maternal grandma, but really, is all this necessary? If you have credible tips, call them into LA, Sumner County, Tennessee Sheriff's Office, or 1-800-TBI-FIND. You have no idea how much your speculation has damaged my family. Yes, I am guilty too. I'm glad she's acknowledging this, and I hope she can move forward now and be more productive. But what am I supposed to think when Kate was the last one with him, and all this negative information is being spread around? Please let law enforcement handle this. If you want to search, hand out posters, flyers, etc., please do so. But the rest of this has to stop. I agree. Totally. Do not react to negative outbursts. You are just perpetuating the drama, and we, the Rogers family, quite frankly, cannot take any more drama. Thank you for your understanding. I'm glad to hear that, and I hope she abides by it, and I hope she doesn't, fall into the trap of spreading all of this negative energy around. And I understand how difficult it might be not to react to it, and certainly Seth has reacted to it. No, they need to step away. They all need to step away from social media, for their own mental health, if nothing else. But yeah, the drama, the backbiting, all of that needs to stop. It absolutely needs to stop. It's not productive for anybody. Law enforcement doesn't consider Seth, Chris, or Katie suspects. Yes, every theory, every possible eventuality is still on the table as far as we know, but none of these people are suspects. They've not been named as suspects. They've been cooperating. Delving into Katie's background, I think, is very counterproductive. I've said this, the stuff that came out about her biological mother. And I think I am going to accept that RSO is Katie's biological mother. There's been some alluding to it by the family. But she doesn't have anything to do with her mother. I mean, look, when that lookalike came out, Sebastian's doppelganger from North Carolina, it was a good theory. Maybe Sebastian was with members of Katie's family. Not the RSO mother, necessarily, but other people from Katie's family. It was a good theory, but it's not true. Let's drop that one now. She doesn't have anything to do with her biological mother. I think what it does tell me is that Katie's bad childhood, I don't know exactly what went down in Katie's life, and nor do I need to know. She chooses men that are angry. She chooses men that are controlling. Chris and Seth are two sides of the same coin. They're both hot-headed. They're both angry. They both, take control of stuff in different ways, but they're very angry. And I find it interesting that these two men that Katie's chosen are two sides of the same coin. And no, I'm not defending Chris. I'm not defending Chris at all. If Chris hadn't been 3.5 hours away in his RV park, I'd consider him a suspect. Me personally, I would consider him a suspect. But he's not a suspect. He wasn't there. Whatever else Chris is or has done, he wasn't there. And I feel sorry for Katie. I don't believe Katie did anything. If information comes out that changes that, like proper information, like proper evidence, then I'll change my opinion. But I feel sorry for her. I really do. She's stuck between the rock and a hard place. And what a horrible situation to be in. Anyhow, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Go girl. Let's turn this off now.